In today's video we are going to talk about brake testing for our mooring winches that we have got. So the requirement is that you have to test your mooring winches brake rendering capacity at an annual interval. So today we are going to do that annual interval testing. And why do we need to do this testing? We need to test this brake rendering because your winches are very strong and they can break your ropes, and it can lead to many accidents. So we have to make sure that whenever you are made fast your mooring lines to the winches, they will not part, or when the load comes it will give way, or it's going to render and it's going to slack the line and not make it more tight. So we are going to see all those things, and what are the requirements, and why do we do the testing, what are the risk assessments. So we are going to go ahead and do the testing now. For testing we need to have some figure which will make sure that you are going to do the right testing. So that figure, from where we will get that figure will be given to us by our mooring plan. So we have got an MSLMP register on board and plan. So in that plan it is clearly mentioned at what force you have to make sure that your winches will be rendering, and that is decided by your ship design MBL. So in mooring plans now you have got ship design MBL, all your mooring equipments, all your ropes, everything is decided by this figure. So this figure will make sure that you will set your brakes correctly, and we have to set our brakes at 60% of this figure. Well, now we have got a mooring MSLMP plan over here. This is one of the plans that we have got. So in this we can see it is clearly mentioned that ship's braking this strength for the mooring line is about 53 tons, and this is the ship's MBL over here. So you have got all the designs, you have got the limitations when you are going to order for your ropes, what should be the ropes MBL. So this is how it is given. If you are going to order for ropes or if you are going to order for wires, so this is how we will have to order when you are going to order for the designs of ropes. So like for this ship we have got 53 tons, so this is our MBL over here, and now we will see the calculation for brake testing. So for brake testing we already have got this testing already done. So we'll see. So in this brake testing we have to make sure, like this is the force. So the rendering force, we are going to test for split drums. We have got two types of testing, one is for split drum and one is for non-split drum. So if you have got non-split, you will be testing for 5 layers, but we are going to test for split drum, so that is for single layer. So the formula for testing is rendering force into D plus D and divided by 2L, or this is the formula. So this, all these values are clearly mentioned over here. So basically what we are going to do is, our rendering force comes to about 31.8 metric tons. So this is our rendering force. So we have to make sure that when we are going to render, this winch should render at this. So what we are going to do is, we do the reverse calculation, and we know all these are the fixed parameters that we have got. We have got RF is fixed, your D stands for the winch diameter, and small d over here, this stands for the diameter of rope. L is your length from where your jack and the center of the winch. and then you have got A, this is area of the jack, and this is the drum type, is it split or non-split. So like we are going to do it for the split drums. So we already know the figure. So then you are going to convert your the jack. It will be showing you pressure, so we have to convert the force into pressure. So this is the conversion factor over here. For pressure, you will be multiplying with W into 100 divided by A. So that is how you will get your pressure. So our pressure gauge is in kg per centimeter square. So we should get a pressure of about 279.89, which will correspond to 31.8 metric tons. So that is what is our aim. This is 60% of our MBL. So this is how we do the calculations. So calculations are pretty simple these days. We have got all the ropes are of same MBL. So the testing, all the rendering forces for our ship, it will be one, that is 31.8. So before we do the testing, you have to do risk assessments, and you have to do a toolbox meeting with the crew so that everybody is aware, because this is not a routine job that you are going to do daily. This we do annual testing, or you have to do testing whenever you are going to change a rope or you are going to change a brake band of a mooring winch. So that is the time again you have to do the testing of this all the mooring winches or the winches which have been affected. So before doing this testing, you have to make sure you have got a risk assessment in place and you have discussed all the risks, because you are going to put a lot of pressure. So your equipment, you have to inspect all your equipment before you are doing the testing, that your gauges, hoses, everything is in good order. And then you are going to discuss with the crew. You are going to tell them how you are going to do the testing. A senior officer should be there. And one important thing in this brake rendering is you have to make sure that testing is done in the right direction, because you have to test the brakes in the rendering direction. That we are going to see now when we are going to practically when we are going to now go and do the testing. So now we are at the mooring winch and we will be going to testing. We are going to test these mooring winches for brake testing. So let's familiarize ourselves and how do we make sure how to do it correctly. So as we have mentioned, the direction of testing has to be in the payout direction. So like this winches, we have got heave in direction and heave payout direction. So this is the direction when the load is going to come, this winch should pay out. So the direction has to be in this winch, it will be clockwise direction. So that is one thing that we have to make sure we are doing it in the right way. And then the second thing that we have got on this ship is this is the marking. How do we make sure that persons are tightening these brakes? These are the manual brakes, so you can keep tightening. How much is your strength? You can keep tightening, but that is not that won't solve the purpose. So what we have to do is you have to make sure that you are tightening it right. So on this ship we have got this marking. We can adjust this marking as per the requirement for 60%. So this is the marking over here, the red band. When once it is in align with this pointer, you cannot tight this winch more than this pointer. Otherwise you are going to tight this brake more, and then it's not going to render the brake this winch when the load is going to come for 60% of ship's MBL. And so that is the right way. So this is also one important thing. This thing will be checked in lot of inspections. So you should always make sure that this marking is very clear. And also for operations, the person who is operating, he should know what is this marking and what is the use of this. So this mostly all the deck people, the guys who are operating, they are aware of this. And we have got split drum. As we have mentioned, our testing will be for split drums. So this is the split drum. So whenever you have got split drum, you will be testing for one layer. So we will be testing this for one layer, but for some reasons, if you don't have this drum and you only have got this drum, so you will be testing for 5 layers. So we have got different formulas for single layer, and this is your non-split drum. So we have got a split drum, so we will be testing for split drums. In newer ships, we have got a platform over here, so you are going to keep your testing equipment over here, and then we are going to test. So we are going to see that. So this is all about the winch that we have got over here. And now let's familiarize with the brake testing kit that we have got and the actual testing. So this is the testing kit that we have got over here. and this is the pump, hydraulic pump that we have, and we are going to pump this pump till the time we get the pressure. And this pressure gauge is in bar, and you have got a flexible hose which is connected to the jack, and this jack, once we are going to put pressure, this jack is going to come up and it is going to exert a pressure which is required by us, and it's going to that is the pressure. We will make sure that it slips at that pressure. And we have got this attachments which we are going to fix it to the mooring winch split drums, and this is going to help us in testing. So let's go ahead and start the testing. So whenever we are going to do the testing, attach all the testing kit to the winch now, ropes, and we are so that our testing kit fits properly. So we are in the process of taking out the ropes so that we can fit our testing kit properly. Now we are in the process of attaching our brake equipment kit, and these are the slots that we have got, 2 slots over here, and we will be testing. So now we are going to test. This is the first pin that we are going to insert. ये सब नहीं आने का. This is the safety pin which we have got so that the pin doesn't come out when there is load on the winch. And now we are going to adjust the second pin. So we have now put the brake band, this brake testing kit to the winch now, and now we will be adjusting so that you can put the jack at the bottom. So once we have got the jack in place, we will be putting back the winch and pressurizing the jack again. We have connected our testing kit to the winch, and this is the bar over here, this is the jack which is down at the bottom. This jack is going to push and it's going to exert a force which is equal to 60%. It will come to about 31.8 tons, and at that force this brake should render and it should move in this direction, that is the clockwise direction. For this we have got our jack which is connected to this hydraulic pump by this flexible hose. Now we are going to start pumping. So let's start the pumping now. Our target pressure is 280. Yeah, so our target pressure is about 280, and when we are doing the pressures, you should always keep clear of this high pressure equipments. To make sure that our brake releases at 60%, and we have already pressurized our system to about 280, that is required. Now we are going to release the winch, and we are going to release the brake. So the brake is already released, so the setting is already done. We are now slacking our brake. The setting is correct. We'll get a sound and we'll come to know when the brake actually releases. So we got a sound, and this sound makes sure that the brake was released. And sometimes you make a markings also, but in this ship we get a very good sound, so you know that the brake has already released and the pressure has also come down. We can see here the pressure has also come down. So we have already tested. We are already tested now, and then now we will make sure that this marking is what will be the final marking on this winches. Thank you. So we have made a marking on these winches. This is the MBL is 53 tons and brake holding capacity is 60%, that is 31.8 tons. After doing the testing, we will also make a marking on the winch that when was the last. So after you have done the testing, this is a good practice that you mark your winches with the brake testing date, and we also have got total grease points on these winches, that is about 34. So whenever we are doing the maintenance and greasing, so it's a good practice so that the people won't miss any grease points. So over here we have, this is the previous marking which is still there on the winch, but we are going to mark the new date after we have done the testing. So today we have seen brake testing of mooring winches, and we actually tested one of the mooring winches and we saw how it renders. So when your brake is rendering, you will get a sound. So with that sound, you know your brake is slipping, or sometimes you can make marking with the chalks so that when it slips you will come to know. But these are new winches and very new brake bands, so when it slips it makes a very loud sound, so it helps us in understanding that the winch has slipped now. So this is how we have done the testing, and we'll be testing for all the winches that we have got on ship. So this is a requirement. So like this we'll be testing one by one for all the winches, and make sure that our mooring winches and mooring equipments is in good order, and it doesn't like become a cause for some accidents. So that is why we follow the guidelines which is there as per the MEPG 4, and we test this equipment. Thank you for watching.